Hello and welcome back to the Reapers with me, Tanky. So what we've got here today for review is the Elegoo Saturn 3 SLA printer. This has been kindly sent to me by the folks over at Elegoo for the purpose of review, but everything here is my own opinion. So let me begin by saying I'm trying out a new camera layout to improve the quality of these review videos for you. So please let me know how you think this is getting on. We've got the Saturn 3 here. It is very similar to the Saturn 2 in its dimensions, and as you can see I've got the Saturn 2 here to compare it against, with an enhanced enclosure which has a heater in the back, but that would fit on the Saturn 3 as the dimensions of the outside of the build are exactly the same as on the Saturn 2. So keeping that in mind, we've obviously got the Saturn 2 here as a direct comparison. This does share many of the same features that the Saturn 2 does, and you've still got various different pieces in there to do with all the build volume and everything, and I'll put up a quick display here of the exact build volume. 218.88mm by 122.88mm by 250mm. The board inside it is still supplied by G2 systems, but also with this you will get the G2 box software, the free version of that supplied, as well as the Voxel Dance Tango slicing software supplied with a license as well, which both supports the new .goo file format for when you go on and slice your files up to go off and do the printing. This also comes with the same sort of hood that you experienced on the Saturn 2, which is all nice and rigid, and it has this backing plate on here which you can remove, and you can put a ventilation system in there like the upcoming Elegoo Mars Mate, which is a giant carbon filter around about the same size as the curing station that you can see over on the right there, and that will help remove any of the fumes from it. It still comes with the same dual linear rails on the Z-axis, and you also get one of the plug-in carbon filters that runs off the USB port on the back. The USB port on the back is also only for the charcoal filter. Please don't plug your USB into it, because that is mounted on the side here, just exactly in the same place as on the Saturn 2, and your power button is in the same place as well, and you still have the lovely touchscreen the front here. So let's move on to the build plate, and with this you can see it's come with a new laser engraved build plate, which will help with the prints sticking to the build plate itself, and that's really lovely. And through the prints that I've done, that hasn't scratched off at all, but as you can see it is the exact same size as on the Saturn 2, and so they are a like for like match. So if you needed to, and you have a spare build plate, as you can see I've got three, one for the Saturn 3 and two for the Saturn 2, you could interchange those, obviously following out any bed leveling. You get the two handy little screws here for attaching the vat onto the actual machine itself, and these vats do come with this new ACF film, and there has been some controversy about this ACF film. It does aid with quicker print speeds, but people will have said that it puts different layer lines and things onto the prints. I've not seen that myself, and if you wanted to, you could go back to the same print films that you get within the Saturn and the Saturn 2. That being said, it works perfectly fine for me. I've not had any issues with it in any way, shape or form. So the build plate itself attaches exactly the same as the Saturn and the Saturn 2, with the big knob on the top here of the arm, and you just tighten that down and that attaches it nice and securely. So the big selling point for this particular printer is the 12K screen, and I personally believe that Elegoo have done 12K right here. Now there is a bit of controversy about the rectangular pixels that this screen produces, where that will actually once again induce layer lines and cause issues, but I haven't come across that in any way, shape or form, and all the prints that I've ever done on this have come out lovely and clean and crisp. So when we go to look at fitting the actual tank onto the printer itself, you'll note that there are 4 little feet that will help it will stay off the actual surface that you've had it rested on if you need to take it out, but also help it locate into place. And this will also just screw down with those 2 screws, making sure it's nice and firmly attached. So let's just put all this back together so you can actually see what it all looks like assembled with the actual cover over the top. And this is a really good looking machine, and Elegoo do really well with the actual production of these machines. One thing I will have to point out is that this does not have any networking capabilities on it whatsoever. Everything with your file transfers needs to be done via the USB stick on the side. So with all of this covered, we really need to see what the sort of results that we can get out of this 12K printer will be. And trying to keep things flight sim related, I printed out this little mini of Maverick walking across a carrier deck, and I will give you some close-ups of this particular mini as well, so you can see a side-by-side comparison more close up, where you see that all the details on this are lovely, clean and crisp. My clean-up work could do with a little bit of refining, as there are some divots where I've had the actual supports for it in place. But also, as you can see, I've done a small little pile of X-Wing fighters for the X-Wing miniatures game here. So you can see here you've got one of the wings, and these things are tiny, but the details on it, clean, crisp, beautiful, and it's really fantastic. You've got the body here, you can see all the cockpit lines, you can see where R2-D2 would be. You've also got like the laser cannons. Now these things are particularly fiddly, but look, you can see here, unfortunately it's a little bit blurry, but you can see all of the ends of the cannons and everything. It is really nice the way it's turned out. So given everything that we've seen here, this particular machine at the moment is going for $399 directly from Elegoo. You might be able to find it on other sources like Amazon and things, but that's the price as the time of recording directly from Elegoo. And this is a bargain for what you're getting, and it is a lovely, brilliant machine to work with. I've not had any issues with this whatsoever, and everything that I've printed has worked first time. It's great. Can I recommend this machine? Yeah, I can. And if you can stretch to purchase the Saturn 3 over the Saturn 2, do it, because that 12K screen is amazing. If you can't, the Saturn 2 itself with its 8K screen is also another amazing machine. But if your budget can stretch to it, I would do it. There is a Saturn 3 Ultra that is due for release as well. Unfortunately, I haven't been sent one of those, and that has even more features on it. And hopefully, I'll be able to do one of those for you in the future. So once again, Elegoo have made and produced a fantastic machine. I've been Sankey from the Grim Reapers, and I hope to see you all very soon.